Guys, Marsling here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and so today we are going to talk about a topic that I have seen come up on Twitter. Obviously a post from Truth got a ton of attention and retweets and comments and stuff because he was saying that he thinks it's been great. So as you can see by the title, we are going to answer the question of, well, I say answer of course, there is really no definitive answer. We are going to discuss the question of, has the worldwide celebration been a good celebration so far? Now, depending on where you fall, I am probably firmly in the yes side of the camp. I think this celebration has been very good so far. Now, I don't know whether I am in somewhat like biased, because, you know, I got good luck on my summons. Also, I am a whale, so minor changes to like the banner format and stuff like that don't really bother me. Plus, I feel like I've talked about this a lot when people talk about issues with the game or issues in the community, and I've mentioned this in videos before, so those of you guys who've been around for a while, you know this is like nothing new for me to say, but like, I am very much a glass half full kind of person. When Dokkan does something new or changes something or tries something different, I always feel like we should at least try to look at it with some, you know, level of optimism. Now, obviously, there's always the meme. It's like, expect the worst and you'll never be disappointed. But, you know, this is a game that at the end of the day is supposed to be fun. Like, I know some people just use it as like a collection game or whatever, but it's a game that's supposed to be fun. And I feel like some people just get overly negative about everything all the time, which is a bit weird. So we're going to have a look at the celebration, and then we're going to look at last year's celebration. Now, we're going to do a lot of direct comparisons to last year. You know, I'm not going to do any direct comparisons to other celebrations, but obviously, you know, each celebration is different. I mean, it's hard to argue that the download celebration, even a bad download celebration, is obviously better than one of those random, like, filler Dokkan Fest, like Raditz, the Resurrection of F Blues. Like, even if you like the units, right? Like Pan, even Ginyu, right? Ginyu's great, but was his celebration great? Like, not compared to a worldwide celebration. So, as we look down the list, so obviously we only have part 1. Login bonus missions, that's all very standard. The Off We Go camping trip is basically just a reskin version of the Hercule or Ginyu Force login bonus, which is cool. Obviously, if you're somebody who gets bad RNG and gets the worst one every day, then it doesn't seem like that hype of an addition. But even getting the great one with the 7 stones like once during the celebration feels pretty nice. And then if you can get the second, like the middle tier one where you get 3 stones, that works out pretty good as well. So the banner format, I think, is like the biggest thing that people have an issue with. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit in more detail as we go down. So we also had ticket packs for sale on Global, which I double checked from last year. We did not have during last year's one, or at least it didn't show up in the celebration info. I could be just misremembering it. A lot of the time, you know, Global has not gotten tickets when doing a same time celebration as JP. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want the games to merge, because they think that Global will lose out on all of those exclusives. But recently we have been getting some of these Global exclusive things during same time celebrations. We also got tickets for like the Majin Vegeta banner for Saiyan Day as well, so that's pretty cool. Like I say, I'm pretty sure we didn't get that last year. Got a Dokkan event for Cooler. Now, we'll go over the direct comparison stuff when we go down last year's one, I guess. And then the collect 50 tickets, obviously we have that going on at the moment as well. Oh, wait, sorry, no, because this is this celebration. We have the 50 tickets. I don't think we had an equivalent of this last year, did we? The guaranteed LR banner, so that's pretty good. Then we have the one story event. We have the media campaign. I'm obviously looking at Global specifically. Global never used to get these. It's only in the last few months that we've actually been getting these for celebrations, so that is pretty cool. Then we have the ticket banners. Now, I would argue, I think it's pretty obvious that both the ticket banners this year are better than the previous years. They still obviously have older, quote-unquote, bad units that you don't really want to pull, but you know, the fact that Super Vegeta, Kid Gohan, there's a lot of very good units on these banners. Then we have the 50 special summon. I probably wouldn't recommend doing the stone version, but obviously if you collect all the tickets, you get those for free. The memorial stones remained pretty much unchanged. And then we had the red stone and the purple stone. Did we get a purple stone last year as well? I think we did. Obviously, there's the weird issue on Global with the image being displayed in the shop being incorrect. A bunch of other people made videos on that. I know Toon and Truth did. I was asleep when the news came out and everybody was making the posts about it, so I haven't bothered to make a video. But go check them out if you want the information. It's basically one of the banner images is just copied straight from JP, but the units you actually get from that pack are slightly different on Global. Now, the funny thing is, the units you get are actually better, but it is technically still false advertising, so potentially there will be some compensation coming from that, but we will have to wait and see. And then obviously sales are always good. I don't know if they were better than last year's ones. Maybe we can compare those directly as well. Then we had farmable unit story event. We got the Gohan event that gives out all the stones. This is kind of the equivalent of the Bulma one, but obviously just done slightly differently. And then this one for the orbs, which is basically like a copied version of the anniversary one for Goku and Vegeta units, but for movie bosses and movie heroes. I think this is awesome. I hope they do this more often for these celebrations. And then we got new Red Zone as well, which is pretty cool. New missions for the existing Red Zone, which is nice. I assume we're going to get new missions for the movie stage, probably Broly, obviously, because the missions are all for Omega. Don't got Boss Rush, that's just free stones. And then this new difficult event, basically the equivalent of like collection of epic battles from last year. So special epic clash, we got that as well. Global got the tickets, the link level keys, which obviously have been out on JP already. And then we've had a Dokkan Fest TUR EZA, as well as a yellow coin LR EZA, and then a sub EZA. And then we have the reward boost. We have the orb events available every day, which for Global, we'd literally just come out of having this for the anniversary, had a little bit of a break for the Raditz celebration, and then have gone straight back into having this again. So as long as you're remembering to do these every day, you should be swimming in orbs on Global. So now let's have a look at the last year one. I want to get this back up to the sales because that's the only one I would need to cross-reference. But if we look at last year, so last year we got login bonus missions, yeah. We got the two banners. It was a dual Dokkan festival. So again, we'll go into the banner format a bit more. Now, we got two new stages for Dokkan events instead of one, because obviously Goku doesn't need new event medals. But the second event will be coming in part 2 for whoever the Dokkan Fest LR is in part 2. So that does kind of even out. The ticket banners, as we already discussed, whilst they are very similar, they are slightly better this year because they have newer units on it. Co-op campaign, we've had a similar thing going on. Now, we did not get the collect the Dragon Balls, so I wonder if that will be something that we'll see in part 2 or part 3, because the Dragon Ball wishes do usually give you a pretty good amount of stuff, so that is something we have not seen so far this year that is obviously very good. Then we have the Red Stone. We did get a Purple Stone yet, but back then, this was before Purple Stone started having LRs in it, I think, so technically, even though these are purchase only, so not for free to play, but the selection of units you can get with the Purple Stone is obviously much better than they used to be. So let's see, the sales, we had the 32 3 times, 93 9 times. So this was 32 3 times, 93 9 times, but we also had the 12 stone one once. And then 150 for the price of 91 once only. And this was 100, which gives you the Purple Stone and can be purchased 3 times. That should be mentioned on here, shouldn't it? Because the Purple Stone was a thing. So, but yeah, so I think overall that means we got more sales. Then we got 2 farmable story events. Now, obviously, so far this year we've only had 1, but we are going to get the Tech Cooler. He got an Awakening and is going to get an EZA. So the only real difference is he's a unit that was already in the game just without an Awakening, whereas in the previous year one, they added 2 story events with a farmable unit. This event, whilst it's not directly comparable, I think you could kind of compare this to the new Gohan camping login bonus thing, because this was just giving you meat and like training items and stuff, which you are getting from the login bonus as well as getting extra stones. So they're not necessarily directly comparable, but I think you could probably argue that that fits in that kind of slot, the login bonus thing. Then we did start to get EZAs for the free-to-play Ginyu Force. We haven't actually seen any free-to-play unit EZAs so far, so that is fair. Skill Orbs, this was a different thing to the format we have now. I think the one we have now is much better, with the choice of 2 paths for the movie bosses or movie heroes. Boss Rush, and then obviously a bunch of returning events. Returning Extreme Z areas, returning story events. The Hidden Potential event was open all day again, or every day again. There's a Dokkan Fest TUR EZA, was transforming Frieza. No LR EZA though. Collection of Epic Battles, this is the equivalent of the other new event. New Epic Clash is the same. New Petan Battle, I guess, is the only thing we also didn't get. So we did get an LR EZA that we didn't get in part 1. So that's a pretty good comparison to part 1 here in the list. So I feel like just by breaking down this list, it's already looking like this year's celebration is better than last year. And obviously we'll get into the banner situation. But the one thing I wanted to highlight specifically, because I saw somebody on Twitter earlier saying that they thought this year, for some reason, it felt like they'd been really stingy with stones, which is definitely not the case. I feel like every year Dokkan gives out more stones. Like, the Countdown campaign, last year gave us 35, this year gave us 45. And then part 1 of this year so far, we've gotten 444 stones in total. And last year for part 1, we got 377. So that's what, 67 more in total stones. So that's pretty good, right? More stones is good. Good for free-to-play, good for everyone. So that is very good. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the biggest controversy, which is of course the new banner format with the new coins. Now, I know hopefully my friend, shout out to Tom, who's watching this video, he gave me a big list of stuff that he was not happy about with this celebration. So rather than type out a really long reply to him, I wanted to mention some of them in this video because they are ones that I have heard other people in the community say as well. So first of all, there's this thing about the new coin format being anti-consumer because like the new Goku is basically locked to Carnival coins because he's only ever going to come back on a future Carnival banner, which means you'd have to buy him with Carnival coins, which obviously means, you know, this is the only banner of this type we've gotten so far. So if you're a free-to-play player, maybe you did pull Cooler early, so you threw a few multis at this banner, the chances of you getting up to 500 of these coins by the time the next banner comes out and you can actually have the option to buy Goku, you're probably not going to. But, I mean, I don't necessarily see the full weight of that because it's kind of just like when coins first became a thing. Like, if you were summoning, you know, we've always advised people pretty much to not summon on yellow coin LR banners. So I constantly see free-to-play people saying that they don't ever have yellow coins and they can't buy LRs because they don't summon on the banner, which is fine. You know, those banners are not great. And I feel like this banner, if we're comparing it to a top legendary summon banner, this banner is obviously way better. It has much better featured LRs, like the featured units. If you go into this banner having none of these LRs maxed out, like you need dupes for all of them, like this banner is so much better than a normal yellow coin banner, which I think is perfectly fine. And then the one thing he did say about the exclusivity of the Goku is the fact that if we compare this to a yellow coin banner, yellow coin LRs have always been good, but they've never really had good leader skills, right? You ideally want to pull them to use on a 170 or 200% lead of another unit, and then they're going to look really, really good on that team, potentially. Whereas Goku is, of course, the first full 200% leader, which obviously gives you that, what, you know, gacha games basically thrive on, which people call FOMO, which is fear of missing out, right? You want to summon this Goku, because if you don't get him, he's not going to come back for ages, he's a 200% leader, you might not be able to buy him with coins for, you know, a year, depending on how many Carnival banners they actually do and how much you summon on them. But the thing I would argue about that is, even though he's a 200% leader, I mentioned this in my LR tier list yesterday, his 200% lead sucks, in my opinion. Like, Powerful Comeback is not a great category. It has some good units on it, but this is the entire category. Like, it's very limited in terms of team building. Now, if you don't have any other 200% leaders, and you've struggled with some of the red zone stages, will pulling this Goku allow you to beat stages that you haven't beaten using his team? Probably, yes, but I don't think that he's a must summon for his leader skill. Like, even though he's not on any other 200% leads on Global, for me personally, I don't like running his team. I would much rather run him on a Goku family team. So I think pulling him for his leader skill is not a necessity. I feel like he still falls very much into the same zone as Yellow Coin LRs. Slightly above, because like I said, if you still need 200% leaders, his leader skill is good. But he's not like a necessary leader that you need. Like, this category is just not great. Like, even his best link partners aren't even on this category. So I think that's a very weird aspect of his design, which is I just can't get over it. I just hate this Powerful Comeback as his only category for 200%. I hate it personally, but that's obviously down to me. Some people might love it. And yeah, of course, Carnival banner, I feel like this goes back to what I was saying about the glass half full thing. So global, there's obviously currently an issue where you can't even trade in your already rainbow units that you pull from this banner for Carnival coins. I assume that that is going to be fixed in the future. And this goes back to what I was saying about the glass half full mentality, is we don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? We could get an update where they add in the trading for the Carnival coins before the celebration ends, with some sort of apology as to why it wasn't up straight away, maybe even some compensation, maybe even giving people some like Carnival coins. That would be pretty cool. And we don't know what they're going to do in the future, because we know every single Carnival banner now, the normal double rates banners, are going to be Carnival coins from now on. And that's a big thing for global, in fact. I don't know if they have it up here. If we go to all gachas, I shouldn't really be doing this on the fly because I actually don't know where I'm going to be able to find it. But is it going to be in Legendary Summon? No, because they're only going to be the LRs, right? The banner that I'm looking for is the Peppy Gals like double rates banner that came out. Here we go. So Rising Dragon Carnival, and then we have, it should show the latest JP one, right? No. Alright. Is this only global gachas? Well, basically, what I'm trying to get at is the Rising Dragon Carnival that's going to come out on that came out on JP, that's going to come out on global in the future, that has the Farsha and the Chilai on it. For global, that is now going to be a Carnival coins banner. So that potentially adds quite a lot of value to summoning on that banner. If you want to pull for Farsha and Chilai, you're now going to be getting these coins. And another thing we are not yet aware of, blue coins pretty much have become irrelevant now, but we don't know if they're going to offer a possibility in the future that you can trade your blue coins for other coins or something. Now, obviously, again, like, you can call this cope if you want. I'm not saying they are going to do this. That is something that they could do that we just aren't aware of. Now, of course, I would argue that if that is what they are going to do in the future, they probably should have given us a heads up that they are going to do something like that, rather than just dropping this as is and then having people panic and complain about what this means for like the gacha coin system in general and stuff like that. But you never know how it's going to change in the future. Personally, I would take this banner over a top legendary summon banner. And the only real criticism I've seen that I do kind of agree with, which obviously it doesn't affect me as much as a whale and as a content creator, but for other people I can definitely see the one major criticism to this new banner format is that we're now getting a Dokkan Fest exclusive LR and another Carnival LR in part 2, and those two units could be better than the part 1 units, and you've already spent all your stones. Whereas in the previous celebration format, we kind of know that even if the yellow coin LRs in part 2 are super good, they're probably not going to be better than the Dokkan Fest LRs, especially in terms of, as we've already covered, like their leader skills and stuff like that, right? Having a proper 2 170 categories with extra 30% for a 200% lead. Usually, like 99 times out of 100, Dokkan Fest LRs are going to be better than yellow coin LRs. So now, you obviously have the issue of, even if you pulled cooler, it's like, well, do I summon for Goku, or do I wait to see how good, like, the Part 2 Dokkan Fest exclusive LR is? So I do understand that criticism of the new format, and I do agree, but at the end of the day, whilst it's not an excuse for that kind of, like, action or behaviour, it's a gacha game at the end of the day, right? Their goal is to get you to buy stones to summon for units. Even though, as we've already said, they've been more generous than ever with free-to-play stones, but their goal is that they want you to buy more stones. And people are not going to like that because, you know, they don't want to, right? You want to spend as little money on this as possible. But that's probably the main reason behind the format change. And I guess we'll have to see how it goes. This is the first celebration where they've done it. Who knows what this means for the future. Dokkan, whilst they don't always do things based on feedback, sometimes they don't do anything despite lots of feedback. Friend system. But who knows, maybe the feedback from this means that the next celebration that has the Dokkan Fest and then Carnival banner, they will change it up slightly, you never know. So, after going over everything, whilst I do see people's criticisms with the new banner format, I will say I do think this celebration has been really good so far. Going down the list, comparing it to part 1, I don't think there's not a huge amount of arguments that this part 1 hasn't been better than last year's part 1. So I'll let you guys discuss down below in the comment section and let me know, what do you think? Has this worldwide celebration been a good celebration so far? So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been The Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.